Adam, lost for words?
Yeah, I'm not sure where you start after conceding 4 corners. We spoke about it, we planned for it, we did a lot of video on it, we went on the training ground and did it. I've just said to the boys there, like, what in this situation, what do you want me to do? Because I'm going to get asked the question now on how you concede 4 corners as goals. And I 100% don't want to throw any of them under the bus, but it's I have to be honest with you, I have to be honest with the players, I have to be honest with the supporters. Apart from head the ball, we've got to do our job, do you know what I mean? It's the setup's there, the structure's there, we knew what was coming. But to concede 4 goals from corners is gut-wrenching, and I know I'll get stick for saying this, but the actual open game, I felt like they weren't causing us any problems at all. We was a little bit safe with our play, which for me it comes with confidence, but I still felt we had control. We were a little bit hesitant to play forward at times, people not wanting to make mistakes. But this is National League North, and if you can't do the basics right, you're not going to give yourself a platform in the game. The first goal, the lads struck a great strike, which sometimes you have to accept. We get ourselves back in the game with a great goal. But then to not do the basics right and defend something where you should be in control of is really painful. And then on the flip side of it, again, we've had some big chances today that we have to take.
Wouldn't expect a manager to put his players under the bus. What response have they just given you in the dressing room?
Honest boys. They're hurting. They held their hands up and said we've got to do our jobs. There's no excuses in there. There's no throwing each other under the bus. People have put their hand up and said they've not done the job, and that hurts. But they've been honest. They're not trying to scream away from it. I've just said to them, we ain't going to get no help. We're in a tough moment at the minute. We're going through one of them moments in the season. It's a tough moment. You see the environment today. It's not good. It doesn't help anybody. But we're the only ones, that 4 walls is the only ones that's going to get us out of this little rocky patch. So we stick together. Now we see what our metal's made as a group of people in that 4 walls, because it is that 4 walls that's going to get out of it. We ain't going to get no support from anywhere else. So we've got to make sure that we stick together. And the good thing for me is we're all hurting in there. And the big thing out of that is we're all on the same page. There's only us that can pull this around. And one of the boys has just said it there, like the feeling with them is we just need a win. I think a win just turns the whole mentality for the group around. There's some boys in there that are lacking a bit of confidence at the minute, and that showed with our safe play at times today, because when they do go forward and they do express themselves, we create some really good opportunities today, and that needs to be a consistent. But unfortunately in these moments, if you're not going to give yourself a platform to build from with the basics, it becomes tough.
It's easy for players to put their hands up, but do they say why they think they're making those mistakes?
They're footballers. It happens at every team in every league in every world. I've seen it a million times. I've been a player, and I understand what it's like sometimes, and they're questions for footballers.
You changed things around today, different players at the back, different midfield as well, and just couldn't get a hold in the game really.
No, I disagree with that. I think we had a hold in the game. I think we concede from a really good goal from them, great strike. We get back in the game through some good play. But I never felt in open play they were causing us trouble. Never felt in open play we looked under any stress. We had all the ball. People are arguing we didn't do enough with it, but we had all the ball. We had the control, but we didn't do the basics, and that's the bottom line. You're playing non-league football, and if you're not going to do the basics, and you're always going to give yourself a mountain to climb, and then obviously going down to 10 men, it becomes double difficult. But the one thing I seen then was a bit of spirit from the boys to keep going and to fight. But we give the basics away again, and that is the story of today. The story of today is 4 corners, and it's a hard one to take.
As a manager, how are you feeling?
As you'd expect, I imagine. Look, I said it in midweek and nothing's changed. We felt it we felt it in the warm-up, the atmosphere. And look, it's. I understand where the supporters' heads are at as well, so I'm not angry with the supporters for giving me stick. I understand it. I think there's one of the subs said it after like 5 minutes, it's like a morgue. But I understand it. We all have to understand it. We're not giving them something to shout about, which is right. So then the other emotion comes out, which is, and I said it in my week, I'll say it again. People keep saying it to me. There's so much anger and frustration still in this football club from the final day of the season last season. It carried in, I don't care what anybody tells me, and it's affecting everybody. And if we don't come together as a football club, I'll be brutally honest with you, this will implode this season. You can change the manager, you can change the players, it will be the same outcome, because there's a horrible battle going on at the minute, and it can't be like that. Like I'm an honest guy, and I understand if people don't want me, I'll walk away, do you know what I mean? I'm not that guy. But you can put anybody, any players in there at the minute, this football club is in a certain situation, and it's only together you're going to get out of it. And that's the brutal honesty of it. That's the honesty of it. I think it's there's an emotion around the ground, and you, as soon as something doesn't go right, you feel it's just waiting to come out and explode. So we've got to pull through that moment, because it ain't going anywhere. It's not going to change until we actually start pulling in the same direction.
I'm interested about that point, you saying in the warm-up and the rest of it. How, I don't see that. So admittedly I've got headphones on and away from it. How's that manifesting itself?
Probably with the silence.
Right.
I think it's as simple as that. I think it's... look, that's not come from me, that's come from the players. So I think as a player, when you're feeling that, for them to say that, then I'm concentrating on the game, to be honest with you. And for me, look, I can take the criticism, I can take the pressure when it comes. It is what it is, but it ain't going to pull anybody out of the situation we're in. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That's not going to help anybody. It's not going to help the players. But at the same time, we have a job to give them something to support, something to cheer about. So it's a double-edged sword. But we have to be on the same page, because, like I say, we can change everything. We can have more change and more change and more change, and there's already been a lot of change. But unless we're all on the same page, pulling in the same direction, then it will be an implosion.
Which is a scary thing to hear, because the trajectory at the moment is going the wrong way. So how are you going to pull that around?
You stick together. It's really simple. This isn't a hard equation. This is not something that's really complicated. It's something that's really, really easy. We as a group of people, not as a group of players or a group of staff, as a group of people, we have to come together. If you do that, it's an easy, quick change. Like the boys have just said to me, now we know we only need one win and everything changes, but we have to get that. We have to find that platform to build from, because that's what we need. We need a platform to build from, and we can only do that as a football club. We can't do it as 24 men. We can't. It's impossible to do on our own, because I know what it's like as a player. You feel like you're fighting the world, and we've got to break that. Do you know what I mean? So it's a two-way thing. We need to give the supporters something, but then boys need the supporters' help at the minute.
Thank you.
And look at Owen Evans today. I know he's a boy that coming in and out. It's been around the group for a few months now. What were your thoughts on being able to bring him in and get him involved today?
Well, we're low at the minute, aren't we, on numbers? Especially, I think we lost. I felt today in a game like this, you needed your physicality on the pitch, and we didn't have it. We looked a little bit fragile at times. I thought Reece Hall was really good in midfield today. I thought he put in a great performance. And Owen's somebody who was playing National League football last season. It gives us can play a couple of positions and gives us some dynamics in the area of plays. I thought he did really well, considering he's been injured, so he's not played since pre-season. But I felt he did well when he came on, and we needed a body in there as well.
In terms of going to Chester next week, whatever the next game was, the manager used to say to me, nobody in football cares when you're in a slump and when you might be feeling a bit sorry for yourself. It's only pulling your sleeves up, I suppose, that's the answer, isn't it?
It's the only answer. I think I've just said to the players there, we as men, as humans, like we ain't going to find any answers feeling sorry for ourselves, or as a group thinking somebody's going to give it us, because they ain't. Like we knew at the start of the season, we found out really, really early, everything in this league is against us. We're everybody's World Cup final. and that's the challenge of this club. So it's we stick together, we get back on the training ground, we work hard, and we keep digging away. And like I've just said there, we just need a win at the minute. If we can get a win, it changes a lot of things in people's mind. It changes the energy. It changes confidence levels, and then hopefully you start getting a little bit of rub of the green, and the change is a quick one. So look, it ain't going to be easy. It's most definitely not going to be easy. We're in a rocky moment at the minute, but this is football.